Many blessings. Good morning. I just had a wonderful morning, feeling fantastic, feeling totally peaceful and relaxed. And it's fascinating to me the power of feelings. How we feel affects everything. Everything. So if we feel stressed or needy or want something, I got to get this stuff. Yeah, as soon as we feel we need stuff, then what happens? Then we feel like life is a bit of a mess, It's like, oh, we're charging around trying to get things all the time. And then when we experience deep, deep peace, beautiful peace, a sense of, everything's great, which is an inner feeling, then the things in our life which may have seemed stressful before, the same things now seem like they don't even matter at all. It doesn't it doesn't even mean anything. And what I found fascinating is that, the traditional world, the way this world is designed, is that as soon as we feel bad, there's some kind of product we could buy to sort it out, or something we can do. But playing the game of trying to make ourselves feel better by running around all the time, does it work? Does it actually work? Yeah? Texting people, talking to people, getting stuff, buying things, distracting ourselves. Does it actually make us feel any better? Yeah? Does that method work? That's the model that our world is giving us as an option. Yeah, if you feel bad, you need something, run around all the time, and hopefully if you run around enough, then you might feel a bit better. What I found personally is that actually hasn't worked at all for me. And the reason I really enjoy higher states of consciousness is that when my own level of consciousness raises by connecting to a higher power and just raising the vibration, then all of life seems small. It seems small. It doesn't have power over us. And then we can actually have a clear heart and a clear mind and just kind of flow through life. It's like flowing through life instead of charging around in a sort of manic state. And so I think, a lot of the issues in our life is misplaced importance about things. What is actually important? Is it important to feel good, or is it important to spend our whole time charging around to try and feel good later? And this is a very, very, very subtle thing. But if we're not feeling peace in ourselves, we're not feeling good, right? Then our life probably is going to be wasted in things that don't make us feel better and just take up huge amounts of energy. And guess what happens? When we feel stressed out, anxious, needy and all these things, what do? We tend to make mistakes. We tend to do silly things that we regret later on. I mean, I can speak for myself. Whenever I feel like something's not right and charging around, when I look back on it, I realize this is actually a serious problem. Yeah. And so I think one of the big challenges we all face is we live in a world that does not value having peace and joy internally, doesn't value it, doesn't recognize it, doesn't see it as important, doesn't promote it. Yeah, you're not going to see this. And yet that is the most important thing, because if we're not feeling good, our life is a total disaster. And if we are feeling good, then our life feels genuinely worth living. A life of misery and depression and anxiety and stress and neediness is barely a life worth living. Good news is that no matter how we're feeling at the moment, we can change it. But we have to give up the traditional mainstream methods of trying to feel better. And that is a little bit challenging because we're so well practiced in charging around doing things that are bad for us, that to make the shift from running around to going within and actually just feeling genuine peace and having higher levels of being, that's a big change, and that requires a dedication and a willingness to admit when we're in that addict charging around mode. And this, of course, requires self-awareness. So when we feel something's not right, then that's when we feel stressed, anxious, it's a sign that the way we're perceiving life is not in alignment. It's not in alignment. And so when we are aware that something is off within us, by having self-awareness that I'm feeling different now, then we can choose to shift that inner state, surrender the negativity, the worries to a higher power, because we can't do it on our own. And if we could do it on our own, we already would have done it on our own. If you could have already done all this stuff by yourself, you already would have done a long time ago. So obviously we need a bit of help. So we just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, and prioritize that state of peace. And I'm not sure how many people have actually experienced real peace in this world, but I can assure you from having done meditation for a long time that there is nothing quite like actually feeling deep peace. There's nothing really quite like deep peace, because when you feel deep peace, all that anxiety and stress is like it's disappeared. It's almost like the noise has been turned off. The noise is turned off, you don't need anything, you don't want anything, and then we can come from a place of ease and grace and love and genuine givingness, rather than pretending to be giving when really we're just charging around wanting stuff. And it's actually easy to experience higher states of consciousness. What it requires is a willingness to give up the benefit we get from lower consciousness. That's actually what it comes down to. Am I willing to stop the secondary benefits, the strange pleasure I get from being stressed and anxious, needy, depressed, or whatever it is? Because there's some hidden benefit we get out of it. And only when we admit to ourselves that we're getting something out of being negative, that's when it can all end. That's when we can actually make the shift. So I'll give you one practice, one simple thing you can do, is ask yourself, am I willing to stop blocking higher states of consciousness? Because higher levels of being, higher levels of peace and bliss and joy is actually bubbling up within us all the time underneath. It's bubbling away. It always is, always will be, always has been, and always is going to keep happening. We're the ones blocking that by giving our attention to charging around all the time with all this other stuff. So simply asking ourselves, am I willing to stop blocking this higher consciousness? Am I willing to stop blocking it? Because it's trying to come up. It's trying to bubble up all the time. Inside of you there is bubbling joy. There's bubbling joy. And we ask yourself, am I willing to stop blocking that arising? And when you are willing to stop blocking it, you'll notice that peace starts to arise naturally. That good feeling, that the bliss chemicals start coming. You start feeling more relaxed, more contented, more liberated, freer and freer. Start connecting with the divine light, the infinite power, which is like supercharged power. And just allowing that light to come in, allowing that joy to come up. So there's like a connection coming in like this. And it's just a willingness, am I willing to stop blocking higher consciousness and allow that to come up, allow it to come up. It's trying to come up. All these good feelings are actually trying to come up all the time, all day long. And we are the only ones stopping it happening. Letting it come up, let it come up. So that's really the choice. We can let it come up, feel better and better and better, or we can be stressed out, run around all day long, never really getting anywhere. You don't hear this stuff on TV. You're not going to hardly see it anywhere. No one really talks about these things, but this is what life is. Life is constantly a state of feeling. It's a feeling state. It's a feeling state. We're always feeling things. And women apparently, did some research on this. Women experience up to 7 times more feelings, positive feelings or negative feelings. So intense positivity, joy and bliss, and 7 times more depression and anxiety and stress than men. Yeah, 7 times bigger range, generally speaking. So if you're a woman, then it's even more intense because you can experience profound states of joy and bliss and horrible, horrible, terrible states of depression and sadness. It's intense. Which is probably why a lot more women are into personal development, because they're feeling so much. And that's probably also why a lot of men kind of look at the women and go, what the hell's wrong with these women? Why are they all over the place? They're feeling a lot more, Of course, not all men and women are the same. Some women maybe don't feel as much, some men feel more. But our feeling state colours everything in life. It colours everything. So if we prioritise allowing those good feelings to come up and prioritise letting go of these negative feelings, priority, more important to us than charging around and all these other things, then we're going to have a much more stable, enjoyable life, a lot less stress, a lot less worry, a lot more just enjoying the wonders of life, feeling good, because really everything feels better when we feel good, and everything feels worse when we feel bad. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm sure you've experienced that, where one day to the next, everything in your life is the same, but if you feel good, you feel like your life is great, and if you feel bad, even though your life might be awesome, you still don't like it, because if we feel bad, we just feel like life's not very nice. It's a horrible place to be. So one thing to do is just notice that you have that infinite joy is actually inside of you, whether or not you're aware of it, doesn't matter, it's still there. And then ask yourself, am I willing to stop blocking this from coming up? Because we're the ones blocking it, we're the ones, there's a lid, Am I going to open the lid, or am I blocking it, Have I locked the bubbling joy? It's like a box of joy. Have I locked it? Or am I letting it come out and feel peace? And it's just like pure energy that goes in all directions with ease and joy. So I know you're an eternal being, I know you're extremely powerful, and I know you have bubbling joy bubbling away, absolutely, because we all do. So ask yourself, am I willing to stop blocking it? Am I willing it to arise? And am I willing to actually prioritize feeling good today and from now on? Prioritize that good feeling above everything else, because that's going to make everything in your life so much easier, so much more fun, so much more enjoyable. And if you have challenges, they'll be a hell of a lot easier to deal with when you feel good than if you don't feel good about them. So thank you for being here. Many, many blessings. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. May you feel good. May you feel joy. May you feel peace. May you stop blocking those beautiful feelings and allow them to arise. And as you do, just notice that your whole life will naturally start to get better. So enjoy the peace and the freedom. Have a beautiful day. Yay.